Hi, I'm Barry Henniker. I'm a fellow of the Chelmsford Institute of Purchasing and Supply, and today we're talking about the buyer's guide to sellers, and today we're going to feature the bid assessment and evaluation process. We need to appreciate today that what we're talking about here with bid evaluation and assessment is a progressive piece of continuous process. Typically you will already have completed something in the form of a pre-qualification questionnaire which will have rendered you shortlisted to be issued with a tender or an ITT document. Okay, the purpose of that process is to sort the wheat from the chaff and ensure that we get a consolidated list of very credible tenderers who are fully conversant with the requirement and all equally capable of delivering the solution. In public sector bids, which are all governed by the Public Contracts Regulations 2006, there are 5 different procedures which the procurer has to elect to take one of them and use as the declared process. Each of those processes requires the completion of a pre-qualification questionnaire, and that is designed to shortlist prospective bidders who are technically capable, financially sound, and are actually qualified to undertake to bid. Depending on which procedure is taken, if you use the open procedure, then you will get hundreds of applicants that you have to put through the PQQ process, and you will end up with hundreds of tenderers. If you use the restricted or negotiated procedure, then you will restrict the number of competent bidders down to a manageable handful of 6 to 8. The PQQ process will shortlist that down to 3 or 4, and from then you will then issue tenders to those 3 or 4, and that will then iteratively reduce that down to a preferred bidder. In the private sector, the function of the pre-qualification questionnaire is a very real tool to provide a effective filter so that you end up with a very competent list of shortlisted bidders. In the public sector, that are governed by the Public Contracts Regulations, they are a very light touch dimension which are designed really just to provide financial and technical capability, comfort, so that in order to use that effectively you have to select the right procedure under the regulations in which the PQQ must be applied. Okay, let's look at some of the tools that could be used in order to assess and evaluate bids. That can range from a very simple form checklist, could be a sophisticated Excel spreadsheet, it could be even a reasonably sophisticated Access database, or it could be one of the proprietary software products that are available now on the market for making syndicated decisions across many stakeholders, across different factors that are involved in the evaluation process, such as finance, technical, governance, corporate social responsibility, etc. And clearly you will be aware that in the event of the procurement being conducted under Public Contracts Regulations, all the evaluation criteria and the markings and the scoring regime have to be published with the pre-qualification questionnaire and with the ITT document itself. And you cannot depart from what you publish in advance. Okay, let me give you some pointers about how you should respond to completing a tender document. Firstly, you've got to fill the tender document in as provided. If you don't complete that to the minimum standard, then it will be discounted at the first hurdle. What you don't need to do is to embellish and garnish it to the extent that it just simply puts people off. People are looking for factual, reliable, contextual information which is capable of objective assessment and evaluation. The people who assess your bid will have some measures that they have to score. That score will be aggregated up across a number of assessors. And remember, the first stage of this process is that bids and tenders will be assessed by 5, 8, 10 different members of the assessment team, and they will be done within the context of an objective scoring model. So there is no comparative assessment at this stage. So if you don't answer all the questions with all the information that is commanded of them, then you're not going to get to the shortlisting stage. Appreciate this, but tenders are often almost invariably structured in such a way that they are compartmentalised, and the price detail will be separated from the technical submission and will be evaluated separately, so the people who are marking your bid in terms of its technical content will not be privy to the prices. The people who are looking at the prices will not understand the technical content, but at some point down the line the two things will be brought together and a value for money judgment will be taken in terms of how the bids are ranked in relation to each other. And don't fall into the trap, please, of embarking on a major cut and paste job. People who read these documents are going to spend their own time and their own effort going through it in some detail, and what they expect to see is a genuine piece of properly structured, competitive, detailed information about how you would propose to meet the requirement that was stipulated in the ITT. If you waste people's time with nugatory information, you will be penalised. What will differentiate you is an appropriate model of business dimensions that you can apply, that we can understand, and that we actually know is going to satisfy our own business objectives, so that we can move along in partnership with you in confidence that you are going to support us fully in meeting our objectives. Of course, when you get your hands on the ITT itself, read it thoroughly, make sure you understand it, and make sure that you are capable of being able to respond to it. If anything is unclear, not stated, or you need more information, then make sure you use the process that is defined in the document to gain additional information. Don't guess, don't wing it, make sure you ascertain what they want. There may be occasions where what is being asked for is completely outside your remit to be able to provide them with a credible and convincing answer. If that is the case, say so. But also, if it's something that you could address in the future by some means or other, or in future partnership with the prospective customer, then make that offer to them available as well. To summarise, in order to be successful with your tender document, you need to have done your research way back at the front end and make sure that bleeds through into your tender document in all its glory. You need to be precise and concise and abide by the mandated requirements that are detailed in the document, and not overblow it with stuff that you think they ought to see. They know what they want to see, so let them tell you and you give it to them. And finally, make sure that you have it linked through to proper, sound, numerical business objectives and financial detail, and ensure that where possible you can build in choice and flexibility, and that is linked to flexibility in price, so that gives you the ability to be many things to many different people and can put you in a stronger position than somebody who is more rigid and more fixed upon their price.